Coming up, we now know the next house for Halloween Horror Nights. Volcano Bay starts messing with their menus, and later on, we will have a dining review of Blondies, which was absolutely terrible. All this and more from the Bob Varley Studio in Orlando, Florida. This is the Universal edition of the Diz Unplugged. This is episode 138 of the Diz Unplugged Universal Edition. The Diz Unplugged Universal Edition is brought to you by Dreams Unlimited Travel, experts at helping you plan the perfect Universal vacation. Visit them on the web at www.dreamsunlimitedtravel.com. Hello, everyone. Welcome to this week's episode of the Diz Unplugged Universal Edition. I am your host, Craig Williams, and today I am joined alongside by not my co-host, but another special guest and our newest employee here at the Diz, and that is Mr. Tyler Crouch.
Hey, how's it going, everybody?
Yeah, so, because Ryno is currently off on vacation. This is Tyler's first week starting here with us. So he's in town. He's based out of California, specifically Southern California, where you'll find all those great theme parks that people want to travel there to, and
like Universal Studios Hollywood.
Yeah, you're an expert at that park, and Disneyland as well.
Exactly, many parks.
Yes, many. Yeah. Just all parks.
Go and see my introduction on the Tuesday show. That'll make it easy.
Yeah, that was only 2 days ago. Chances are, if you watch this show, you also watch that one. So, not a really big deal, but yeah. So, Ryno and I did pre-record a whole bunch of episodes before he left for his trip to Ireland. But unfortunately, there's been a lot of news since he left. And like last week, we were able to sneak in right at the last second the Dragon Challenge closing at Universal, but since then, even it's kept going, and it's been very event crazy heavy going on. So luckily, instead of me having to sit here and do this by myself, Tyler volunteered to sit in and kind of discuss these with me too. So
I'm such a nice guy. What can I say?
You are. I mean, it's not like you're getting paid for this. So
exactly.
But without delaying this any longer, I want to get into the first story that I want to talk about, as I teased earlier, and that is we now know the next house for Halloween Horror Nights 27, and actually it's also going to be out in Universal Studios Hollywood at their Halloween Horror Nights event too, and that is Ash versus Evil Dead. So this is this house is going to be based on the very popular Starz original series, which, if you don't know anything about that, that is essentially a follow-up to the Evil Dead movie series, which includes The Evil Dead 2, and then Army of Darkness. So good old-fashioned campy Sam Raimi with Bruce Campbell walking around with his chainsaws, his boomsticks, all that goodness. So
I'm looking forward to it. I definitely am. I've never seen the show. I've seen a little bit of the show. Okay. But I've seen the movies, obviously. Yeah. Yeah, and that's what I'm really looking forward to. So.
And I've never watched the show at all, too. I don't have Starz.
So, yeah.
Without illegally stealing them, or I guess buying the Blu-rays or the DVDs of them, I just have had no way to do it. But I'm not really a fan of Army of Darkness. I think it's a little too cheesy. I love Evil Dead 2. So
you might not be the biggest fan of Ash vs. Evil Dead, because I've heard it's very. I mean, and then from what I've seen, I did see like the one episode. It is very cheesy. It's supposed to be kind of comical.
But I like the comical side of it. Yeah. The problem with Army of Darkness is it went so far away, and like going back to medieval times, it just while it was goofy, it didn't fit in with the same tone of the first two movies. And of course, if you don't know anything about this series, the first movie isn't even. It's not a comedy at all. It is like Sam Raimi did his best to make this horror movie, and it just, while it wasn't scary at all, it still had some iconic moments. So then he goes to make Evil Dead 2, and that essentially turns into just almost like a complete replica of the first movie, but he embraced the camp in that one and said,
he
let's
realized,
just go all out. Yeah.
Kind of became one of those Fast and the Furious things, right? Where Fast and the Furious didn't necessarily begin knowing about itself, and then it moved on.
Yeah, no, exactly. So once you embrace what people are enjoying about it, and you really like take advantage of that, then you can do something big out of it. And I mean, it's huge. Even Evil Dead spawned an actual a horror remake of the original one just a few years back, and they did a house at Halloween Horror Nights on that one too. I think they've done an Evil Dead house.
They have, yes. This isn't the first Evil Dead house they've done.
Yeah. But. So I did the one that was based on the remake of the movie, and that was actually a pretty good house from what I can recall, my memory on that. So I'm excited for this one.
Yeah, I they just had a convention out in LA called Midsummer Scream, and John Murdy and Chris Williams, who work at Universal Studios Hollywood doing Halloween Horror Nights over there, they talked about Ash versus Evil Dead, and they were saying that it's going to have the cabin from the original movie, and it's going to have, the trailer that Bruce Campbell's, he lives in. And so it'll be interesting to see how similar the Florida one is to the Hollywood one, if it's going to have kind of the movies in it as well. So.
And that's always the exciting part about if you have the opportunity to visit both events on both coasts. As we've said over and over again, don't think that just because you live in Hollywood or you live closer on the East Coast to Florida's, don't think that only because I'm going to this one, I don't have to go to that one. While they share the same intellectual properties, because, well, it makes sense financially, the creative design for the house is done by two separate people. And so while they share the same property, they're completely unique. There's almost no correlation, even though it's the same look and the same aesthetic, the same feels. It's just completely different.
Right. So they'll have a conversation, and I think that's about where it ends.
Yeah, that usually is. So for this house in particular, Universal described this as the Ash vs. Evil Dead maze will transport guests into the town of Elk Grove, Michigan, where they will encounter deadites, people or objects possessed by evil demons that have been unwittingly unleashed by Ash Williams. Again, throughout the maze, guests will come face to face with disturbing characters and iconic comedic and gory scenes from seasons 1 and 2 as they desperately try to escape all things evil before it's too late. So, I'm looking forward to this one.
Sounds like it may focus more on the show than the Hollywood one. Yeah. So that'll be interesting to see.
I don't know about you, but I'm always a fan of when they do these kind of like comedic houses. Sometimes it goes really well. Some of my favorite houses of all time have been ones that embrace the comedy. Other times they've been some of the worst houses in general, but I think this one has the potential to be up there.
Right. I don't mean to keep on bringing Hollywood up, but I don't know if you did 2 years ago, This Is the End.
I did not, no.
But that was not the best house I've ever been through, but it was still like, for a comedy movie, you're like, okay, this is actually pretty good, and it made me watch the movie, and it fit in with the movie. So
the first my first Halloween Horror Nights or second, I don't even remember, out here, my favorite house, and it's still one of my favorite houses to this day, was HR Blood and Guts, and it basically was going throughout all of the holidays, but with that sick, twisted, evil side to it. And I love when they get it right. When they get it wrong, you have something like the year that Penn and Teller had their 3D house.
Or even last year's Chance House. I was not a big fan of.
That was also along those lines where it just didn't quite work out. This has promise. And so, I mean, looking at it, we now know on both coasts, while we're getting American Horror Story with seasons 2, 3, and 6 out in Hollywood, you're just going to have one that is based on Roanoke, right? Or is it based on the new season?
Yeah, the Roanoke is the new season, yeah.
Well, there's
a new season coming out, but it's the newest season that's been out already.
Yeah, yours is only about Roanoke, where ours is taking in Asylum and Coven.
Exactly.
And then, of course, we will also both share The Shining, which that has me most excited.
And I again, John Murdy and Chris Williams were out there in LA talking, and they were saying, what are the things that you think of in The Shining? And they said the blood elevator, and the big wheel down the hallway, and the twins, and they named basically everything. They showed us pictures of I know this is Hollywood again, but they showed us pictures of the carpet. It was amazing. It looked just like the hotel. So I guarantee if they made the carpet for Hollywood, they also made it for Florida. So So I'm really looking forward to seeing the Shining House. It's going to be awesome.
We got our first tease back at the carpet last year with our American Horror Story house for hotel. Right. The hotel section, they had the carpet in there. So I know they're bringing it back. They already made it. So they made it once. They're going to make it again. But we are going to shift now to the next event that will be happening not right after Halloween Horror Nights, a couple months after, and that is Universal Mardi Gras 2018. So, of course, it will be returning. No one expected it, or no one didn't expect it not to. I mean, it's been every single year for as long as I know, and but we do know that it's going to have a record-breaking amount of dates. So it is going to run every night starting February 3rd, 2018 through April 7th, 2018. So if you're trying to count that up in your head, it is 64 consecutive days of Universal Mardi Gras.
That's a lot of Mardi Gras.
It is. And, the goofy part about it, too, is, it starts February 3rd. So it's great for like that first month. But then as soon as Mardi Gras is over, while you enjoy it because there's going to be like good concerts coming up, right, and the food's always solid. This year, they kind of took it to the next level with getting good craft beer choices in as well, instead of just sticking to Bud, Miller, and then usually a Beta because that's out of Louisiana. But yeah, no, they really upped it this past year by doing it consecutively, night after night. Of course, they still do the big marquee concerts on select weekend nights, not during the weekday. And we don't know the acts that there's going to be this year. That won't be released until much later on, closer to the event, usually about a month out.
Pitbull every night.
Yeah, right. And luckily, Pitbull didn't come last year, so I didn't have to lose my mind on air.
He wasn't invited.
No, and hopefully he's not invited this year now that he's no longer the ambassador to Florida that he was one point in time.
You Florida people do your own Florida thing. I don't know nothing about Pitbull being an ambassador to anything.
Oh, yeah, he was like Visit Florida's ambassador, which I don't know who was thinking that was a good idea. But, of course, in the past, big acts like Kelly Clarkson have come through. Right. Usually people who aren't going to sell out a stadium, but people who definitely haven't lost it all yet. Like my favorite concert I've ever seen for Mardi Gras still was Huey Lewis and the News, which just
that's good.
Classic.
That's good. Good stuff.
Yeah, no, it really is. So, yeah, start planning now. Sometime between February 3rd and April 7th go. Of course, the parade will run every single night. The food will be available every night. I'm guessing just like last time, too, for annual pass holders and such, there's going to be a happy hour where you get discounts on all the food before. So, yeah, if you need any more information on Universal Mardi Gras, make sure you head over to our website, universal.wdwinfo.com. You'll be able to find videos on last year's event and such, so that way you can decide whether or not this event is for you. So the last thing I am going to wrap up here with the news is, we've been trying to cover Volcano Bay as much as we can. Every week, not every week, but every couple weeks, we give you a little bit of update of what's happening with it. And this was really big news kind of over this past weekend, and that's that Volcano Bay just went crazy and started slashing things off their menus, which was absolutely surprising because before the park opened up, in the months leading up to it, literally every single thing that they put out almost always included there's going to be over 60 food options available.
Right. Well, it's always been one of the weirdest things, too, is that it was by far the best quick service to get out of all of the Universal theme parks. And you were just like, wow, this is like, hopefully they'll step up the other theme parks soon. Yeah. And in a way, they kind of took it back. They dialed Volcano Bay down. You're like, what is going on?
No, and it's like, besides the Wizarding World of Harry Potter restaurants, and I would actually even argue just more or less only Leaky Cauldron. Three Broomsticks is good, but it's a little too basic. Yeah. But Leaky Cauldron's still great. And then some of the food options on Fast Food Boulevard in Springfield, besides those, everything at Volcano Bay was some of the best stuff that was made for Universal. Rivals anything put up at Disney in terms of creativity, execution, and price on top of that. Really good. Right. So,
well, the thing to remember about Volcano Bay too is it's like Volcano Bay is designed for you to be spending half of the day or more doing nothing, chilling. Like, so when you're getting rid of all this food, it's a real bummer because that was like half of the, that was half of the fun is like, oh, I know that I'm going to be hanging out. When I went, I got a cabana and we looked at the menu and I was like, oh, this is awesome. Yeah. Now it probably wouldn't be as nice, to be honest. So,
well, and I will say this, the one thing about it is they didn't just destroy it. They still do have a lot of their really creative food items on the menu. But they did get rid of some of the ones that I did taste that I thought were exceptional. The big one being the ribs that they offered there. When we had our preview of Volcano Bay, that's one of the things that I tried. And they were absolutely phenomenal. But
they got rid of some tacos, right?
The taco stand, it was the the Leaping Frog taco stand. Yeah. And essentially they got rid of all the tacos that they served there, and they added onto the menu there a foot-long corn dog, a foot-long hot dog, and loaded nachos. So the taco stand, now that still is the Leaping Frog tacos, has no tacos in it available at all. All said and done, it was around I believe 25 or 26 items that were dropped. And, one of the things that they got rid of that I was happy to see, they had the foot-long pretzel dog, which Ryno and I had the first day. And, in theory, this thing should have been amazing, and it was just really gross. They got rid of some of the specialty burgers going along with it. Got rid of they got rid of at least one pizza item, and it really slimmed it down. And the thing is, we don't know why they did it.
Right?
Is it because wait times for the food was taking that long that they figured, let's slim the menu down so that way we're only cooking these few items, get them out quicker? Was it just that they weren't popular?
Right. Or was it even something more sinister where it was just kind of like, hey, let's just tell everybody we have all this great food and have everybody, talk about how great the food is, and then we have it out there.
Yeah.
That the food is great, and then we can pull some of it back later.
Yeah. I have no idea why these changes were made. I'm really, really interested in finding out. Regardless, it's a shame. I'm not saying don't completely axe your plans of going to Volcano Bay, but one of the things I was telling one of my friends, who he was on the verge of deciding, I'm not really going to go to Volcano Bay that much to go into the water and do the slides and stuff. Maybe every once in a while, but in terms of a place to go and grab food and drinks, maybe I should add it on for that. And my advice was, if you can afford it, which it's basically just less than buying 2 one-day tickets there to upgrade a pass to have access to it. It's completely worth it, especially for the dining and drinking options on there.
Right.
A lot of really good stuff, but now that they cut it down, I'd have to rethink that if it still is a viable option for people who just want to go and experience that side of it.
If you're not going to go there for rides, you're right. If you're not going to go there for rides and you just wanted to hang out, and I used to say maybe it would have been worth it, but
it's really tough. But so it's sad. We'll see if stuff starts making its way back on. I know the feedback, at least I've been seeing, it's been kind of 50-50. Some people are pissed off about it. Other people are accepting of it and say, there's still a lot of stuff on there that's good. So no reason to get too upset about it. So
it's just strange. It's just a weird thing to happen.
Yeah, it came at a very bizarre time when Volcano Bay and Universal are trying to do whatever they can to turn around the negative spin that's been put on that park because of the issues that they've had with virtual line system, the fact that they've hit capacity basically every single day before noon.
And that they're not even ready. Is it? What? I haven't been in, it's been about a month and a half, I guess, but it was not finished when I went.
No, and it is... It's still not finished. A lot of it's the effects and the little interactive elements that just haven't quite made it in yet. The volcano, all the effects at night with the eruptions and stuff. While they've got a little bit of it done and finished. They're still perfecting everything in there, and they will be for probably another couple months too. But it's really tough when people are excited to get in there and see it, and it just wasn't ready.
What can they do? They told people a date, and you don't know. I don't know whose fault it was. I don't know if it was the ride manufacturers or if it was Universal Creative or whose, but
yeah, it's on all of them. But
yeah, probably.
Yeah. No, so that is basically it for the news. So at this point in time, we actually, Ryno and I did record a little bit of what we are doing with the next part of this show, and that is our dining review at Blondies. So just in case I'm not remembering what we already recorded, I'm going to kind of summarize it. We went and did another in-park dining segment, not eating. That sounds so uncivilized. We did another one of those at Blondie's, which is a quick service restaurant in Toon Lagoon, home of the Dagwood sandwich. It was really garbage, just a really terrible experience. And it's a shame that you all have to listen to it. Like, don't turn it off. It's really entertaining, but you'll get more out of listening and watching it than we got out of actually experiencing it. So we are going to go ahead and show you everything that happened with Blondies now. Hello, today we are outside of Blondies in Toon Lagoon. Ryno, why is that?
Well, I'm hungry.
Yep, we're hungry. So we're going to go eat at Blondie's. Something that you've never done before?
Nope, I've only walked by. The sandwich that makes up the queue looks pretty delicious, but...
Yeah, I've eaten here once a while back, a long time ago. So it's time to definitely revisit it. So much like Toon Lagoon, it's just a lot happening all at once.
Yeah.
So...
like sensory overload a little bit.
Yeah, a lot of sensory overload, but I have zero expectations going into this, so... I hope I'm not disappointed at all.
Well, I'm so hungry, I don't think I can be.
Well, there you go.
That's really rock bottom right there.
Yeah, absolutely it is. So let's go on ahead inside and check it out. Well, we're about 20 minutes into this experience so far, and I am already regretting every little bit of it. The line was just a ridiculous mess. Like, people were just cutting in front of each other, and just no regard for human nature and civility. And then you get up there and you find out that this is like the slowest food making process in the world. And the sad part is, like, the big thing here is the Dagwood, and it's a pre-made sandwich. They do made-to-order subs, but they take longer. They take longer than Publix. And if you've ever been to Publix for a pub sub, you know how long that takes. And just a complete mess. And then you get in here, the entire place is in disarray. There's no one cleaning anything. It's just a disgusting mess. And the food doesn't look that much more appealing either. So I ended up going with the Reuben dog, which is a foot-long Nathan's hot dog, Reuben style. So there's Thousand Island, Swiss cheese, and sauerkraut on it. Just, my life's full of regrets.
At least the baby left.
I didn't even get into it. I get what they're going with. But freaking Hot Dog Hall of Fame is just like right outside the park. And you can get a much better hot dog. But I'm also grumpy because of the conditions that we just went through, so I'm gonna sit on this a while. I do enjoy the crinkle cut fries, so I'm a fan of crinkle cuts. Yeah, that hits the spot. Ryno, let's go to you.
Yeah, so I completely agree with Craig. It is filthy in here. And not like, oh, it's filthy, girl. No, I don't even know what I just said, but it is just gross. My hand sanitizer wipes just paid for themselves. So, also I was super disappointed because I thought we should get the signature sandwich, the Dagwood. We just watched them make all these subs in line, and it's one that's pre-made. So it just gets pulled out of a refrigerator. And I'm like, ugh. And on top of that, it has an olive on top, which I know, whatever, it comes with all gross. I don't like olives. So that's coming off. But you can see it's not quite as, not impressive. Not as impressive as it was described to be. So I'm going to take my first bite of this before I add anything to it. The bun's nice and fluffy. Alright, I mean it's good. The bread's good. This is supposed to be an onion bread though. I'll actually read you the description. I don't know what this blue thing is on the end here too. I don't know if you can see this. Not sure that this is supposed to be here or not. So hold up. Let me read you what the actual description of this sandwich is. The Dogwood sandwich is a fresh baked onion and poppy seed bread. All right. Piled high with baked ham, turkey, roast beef, American and Swiss cheese, topped with lettuce, tomatoes, mayonnaise, and mustard. $9.99, $12.49 for the meal. I don't know what to say about it. It's not terrible, but it's like you could make this in your hotel room and bring it in your backpack. Or maybe you can't, because I don't think you can bring food into the park anymore. But regardless, I'm going to have to take a couple more bites before I weigh in here and figure out what this blue stuff was on my sandwich.
So we've come a long way. As we've been sitting here, I've had a couple more bites of the hot dog, and there is a whole weird thing of textures happening now. Ryno pointed it out. I was just about to say the exact same thing. The cheese is half melted, but like not all the way there. Like it couldn't commit to melting. And there's like moisture all over top of it now. Combine that with the soggy sauerkraut in the Thousand Island. It's
like eating it. You just said how gross it is.
I'm hoping that.
Are you crying?
I'm hoping that it'll change the more I eat it. It is just not changing. And the sad thing is I'm going to eat it all. So Ryno, how do you feel about the decor in here?
It fits in with the rest of the Toon Lagoon area. It's that comic book cutout-y feel that they have everywhere, and I'd say it carries in here well. There is that you pointed out to me, a concerning little crab man up here in his bowl that I thought was a bagel, maybe, and I don't know if he's happy or he's terrified that he's about to be eaten or smushed, or I'm just not sure what his feelings are. So there's kind of like it's like a Rorschach test almost. Like I think you are that crab in here. But I mean, it is what it is. It's really small in here, though. There's not a lot of seating, and a lot of the seating are bigger tables, so it's like you're not going to share with people at a theme park, probably, unless you're in Harry Potter World. Harry Potter World. Who am I? Unless you're in the Wizarding World of Harry Potter. But it is just like the rest of it. It's kind of a lot of weird colors, a lot of stuff coming at you.
Yeah, I kind of have the same opinion overall. The seating area in here is the thing I can't get over. It is just so cramped in here that I feel like it's triple as loud as it should be in here. And I mean, that's kind of like the same thing we went through with Mel's. We complained that it was so loud in there, but that was loud because there was a ton of people. Here, there can't be. There's maybe 30 people in here, and it is so incredibly noisy. And it's an overload. These people need to be dispersed out. I need to get out of here as soon as possible. The decor and stuff. My big thing I can't get over is there's all these like pictures of the Dagwood, and there's like this cool little thing where it's how to make the Dagwood, needing the architecture, the ingredients, all that. Except then we saw your Dagwood. They can't make the sandwich look like the actual Dagwood in all the pictures. If you can't recreate it in the pictures, why gonna sell this sandwich anyways? I just don't understand it. This place, it looks like it has so much promise from the outside when you see a giant sandwich, and then you find out this is where dreams come to die. Like, how... I'm a big proponent of always take pride in whatever you do. Even if you're not doing anything big, always take pride. And I feel like just everyone who's surrounded in this restaurant has just had to be okay with giving up a little bit. It's sad.
It is only fitting that we walked right out of Blondie's, and it is now thunderstorming and raining. Because that's the mood I'm in after eating there.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of at a loss for words right now.
It's not a place you want to come to and stop and grab something quick, one, or you're not getting the reprieve from the heat really because it's so packed in there, like you said. There's no relaxation. You know what I mean? When you're hot, it's sweaty, it's Florida, you want to go to a quick service place that at least maybe you can sit down and take a beat and take a second. I'd say you'd be going from what might be bad for you into worse.
Yeah, and for the two of us, with our annual pass discount, it was still $27. It was ridiculously overpriced. And I know all theme park food's overpriced, but trust me, for the quality, this was very overpriced.
Craig made a great point too about you got a giant sandwich on the outside. You got me hooked, and then you come in and there's these things on the wall about the architecture of the sandwich, and then you get the sandwich and it's nothing like that.
Yeah, no, it's just...
You've lied to me.
I don't know how many different ways to say Blondie's is a piece of crap, but that's just it
I think it's time for this area to go.
Yeah, you know what?
As much as I love old, the Sunday cartoons and stuff like that, and I love Popeye, as a person.
I love Dudley Do-Right. I love Popeyes. I love the attractions here. I even like the cartoons that represent. But the food sucks. Yeah,
it's time to elevate some of this when the rest of your park is hitting on all cylinders, and you got this kind of a dud area,
Yep. So, and Blondie's fits in perfectly there. So, home of the Dagwood, but today it's home of everything awful.
More like Deadwood, like a TV show, am I right?
But that's beloved.
That's true.
Yeah. Okay.
Right, it's raining heavier. Let's go.
Yep. See ya.
Gosh, that is an experience I wish I could forget.
Oh yeah, but unfortunately, for me it's just like, well, then is there any redeeming quality in Toon Lagoon now?
Yeah,
Ripsaw Falls, yeah,
Ripsaw Falls, Popeye and Bluto's. It's Toon Lagoon is at the point where all dining in there is terrible.
It's worse. It is worse than Mel's. It was worse than how I felt about Mel's when we were eating. When I ate that sandwich that was made out of God knows what. And it was small, it was cramped, it just was filthy and dirty and slow, and like, you can't give me a sandwich that looks like that, like your sandwich you're eating on the wall with the pictures of the sandwich on the walls, and then you give me this really terrible sandwich.
Okay, we also didn't talk about it while we were there, but when we were having issues which line are we going to choose, and people jumping in front and all that, the line, we eventually got up to the counter to the line that we were going to go into, and the person who was making the food in that one literally just had sweat pouring beating off his face and starting to pour down, where we had to then go back into the other line specifically because I know there had to be sweat dropping off into the ingredients in the food. And Ryno and I, seriously, we were looking at each other like we might walk out. There's got to be some cross-contamination issues there, and just absolutely disgusting. Not even talking about the cleanliness of the restaurant in general. If I don't know if I can't trust that my food was made without sweat pouring into it, I want metaphorical sweat. Blood and sweat going into my food. I don't want literal blood and sweat going into my food. That's just absolutely disgusting. It hurts my stomach. It makes me want to not eat, knowing that we could have been ingesting someone else's bodily fluids. Just repulsive from the start. And then thinking about it more, the Dagwood, that should have been big and impressive. It was such a sad, already pre-made sandwich.
You made a weenie on the outside of your restaurant about a giant sandwich, and then it just the fact that the other just regular sandwiches were being made on the spot, but the Dagwood was not. You're like, what the hell?
Yeah. Well, on top of that too, we didn't get the made to order subs, but watched a lot of people get them, and I'm gonna say the sub made to order was maybe 6 inches, and they would maybe put 3 slices of deli meat on top of it, the bare bones amount of iceberg lettuce, and barely any toppings on it. It looked like if you were a child going to Subway and said, I just want 1 piece of cheese on it, that's all I want on my sub. That's kind of the equivalent. And for $10 for one of these made-to-order subs that have nothing on them, it's just bonkers. Again, we understand it is a theme park. It costs more to eat there. But it's an insult when you can pay $4 more, go to any of the Wizarding World restaurants, get an absolutely phenomenal quick service meal, or you can save a couple bucks and you can go and have such a terrible experience like at Blondie's. It's an insult to anyone goes through. Why they can't just start shutting down one restaurant at a time and fixing it up, changing the menu is beyond me. I talked about how last week I talked about how Universal has done such a great job of not letting their attractions, for the most part, go into total disrepair. They do a good job of realizing when something needs to go and updating it, but it's not that way for dining for some reason. And we had to suffer. And even, again, the hot dog I had, just completely miserable. Knowing how gourmet hot dogs are made, thinking okay, if this is the gourmet hot dog spot in here, how can you ever compare that to Casey's in the Magic Kingdom? If we ever did a Universal versus Disney on Casey's versus Blondies,
Lord, yeah, it's no question.
It would be an insult to Disney to even try to compare them, saying, well, they're both in parks and they're both specialty dogs. It's just a complete insult. So I said it before and say it again. Blondies, avoid it like the absolute plague. Yep. There is no redeeming factors to it at all. It's an embarrassment that it's there. I feel bad saying that, but it's crap. It just needs to be shut down. They can put T-shirts in the shop. That would be a better. Yeah. That would be a better use of space.
It really is a shame, though. It's a shame that there isn't at least one decent place over there. That it's not. I mean, I can't speak for the other one because I haven't been there, but it's just it. I don't know. It should have, everywhere should have something fun and good that goes along with it.
I personally think Blondie's should be a salad sub shop, with the premier sandwich being the Dagwood that is not pre-made. It should be a made-to-order thing every time, stacked high.
Like the Subway inside.
Exactly. The subs shouldn't be let's use the bare bones amount of ingredients. Let's pack these things full. I'm sorry, we all know how much deli meat costs. Right. It's not a surprise that you're completely getting ripped off here, even for a theme park. Make it big, make it bold. Have that option. Do made-to-order salads, too. It's so simple and easy. I know they can do it because back in the team member grill that we would go to at every day, we had made to order salads there. So it can be done, and it can be done easy. And that's kind of what Universal needs. There's so much greasy, bad food still at those parks. They need a place where you can get just either a sandwich or a salad. Throw on some soups too, even better. So, and I think this would be a perfect spot for it. But as of now, it's garbage. Stay away from it. If you're going to Toon Lagoon, go to do the attractions and get out. Just run away. So just, Okay, well, that was as entertaining as I remember. Movie magic. I didn't sit here and watch that. I just started picking up talking from where I left off seconds ago.
And I looked confused.
Yeah, no, you'll have to watch it when it's already out there and see what you think about it. But really, the restaurant is just absolutely horrible in every way, shape, and form. Have you ever eaten there?
I've never eaten there because I expected that it would be horrible in every way, shape, and form.
Well, good. I'm glad you didn't waste your time with it.
And I'm glad that you confirmed my suspicions.
See, we're all happy right now. So instead of continuing on and on and on with Blondies, I am done with it. I'm putting it to bed. And along with that, I will put to bed this episode. So Tyler, thank you so much for sitting in and helping out with the news section. I really do appreciate it.
I appreciate you having me on.
Oh, no, it was fun. It's glad to introduce you. So when anytime you're out here in Orlando visiting us and our team out here, you are always welcome on this show.
Oh, thank you so much.
You're very welcome. Yeah, and of course, thank you to everyone out there who took the time to watch and listen to this. Remember, if you need any more information, head over to DizUnplugged.com. That is the home of our show notes page for this show and every other on the Diz Unplugged podcast network. It will also have links to our email address, which is uopodcast at DizUnplugged.com. That's what it is. I got it. I snuck it out. There's links to our Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. So if you want to follow us on there, of course, do so. I highly recommend it. And if you're watching this on YouTube, make sure you are subscribed to our channel because a lot of people forget to. And make sure you're leaving comments, feedback, what you think about Blondies, this, that, and the other. As well as if you're on iTunes, make sure you're subscribed to that too. Rate and review us. We do appreciate it. So thank you so much to everyone out there again. We do this every week because of you, and we hope you keep enjoying it. And that'll keep us coming back to do this. So that's going to do it for this one. We will see you again next week for another episode of the Diz Unplugged Universal Edition. Until then, remember, no resolutions. See ya.